I forgot
My whole
exactly.
team in Toronto was like that. Like I have a team. Like that's how I built the label was through a team.
But like with that, you have a lot of beat makers and other resources here that are maybe not as aggressive with what they need to do in terms of finding rappers.
Yeah,
Like if you know the
find people that
rappers are gonna be a little lazy.
find people that suit your sound. You know what? When I did before when COVID first hit, I was speaking on a webinar that I did with Cato on the track at our last interview. When I did that webinar, one of the number one things he said to do is to find artists who suit your sound. Because
Yo,
he's
that
like, yo, your beats are fun. Like during this webinar, like this webinar had he had himself and he had just signed two other artists or two other producers rather. He was building a producer team.
hold on, is that the same dude that like just is on the Breaking Records contest beat making team right now?
No,
Okay, that guy was named
no,
Kato's, so I wasn't sure. I was like,
no. Well, no, this is a dude from the States. I don't
okay,
know
okay,
about
okay, okay, okay,
no.
okay, okay. Anyways,
Yeah, but them guys are good. Yo, Essence and these guys, those guys are good people, man. Those guys are really good people. I knew them. I met them when I was in Toronto.
mm.
It's pretty cool. That's why when I seen them on there, I was like, "Yo, say a word, yeah, buddy." you know. So the number one thing you want to do is what were we talking about before? Right? Shit.
Kato telling you to find people
Oh
that
yeah,
make sense
Cato.
for your song.
Yeah, Cato. Yeah. So what the number? That's what he was. So he built a little. He's building a label, and so he has like two or three other producers he signed. And so two of the producers that were there, Danny Couture and what's the second guy's name? A A something. I don't remember this guy's name. Anyways, he's a dope dude too. Um, so they were part of the judging team. So every time that they were playing somebody's music, they were always talking about like, okay, how long have you been doing this? You got it sounds okay. You got a lot of things that you got to work on, and that would just literally be coaching people's music. But like that's how like when they got to my music, it was just straight like, yo, what was your favorite one? Yo, I like this one. Yo, I like this one too. Yo, this one was sick. Yo. And so they ended up eating it up like it was bubblegum. So they're like, yo, you just got to find people who match the sound that you have and put out music.
Mm.
And so
Ooh,
that's
that
what I,
second line. Ooh, I know what you're
so
talking about.
I'm like, you
And
know what?
hold on.
Okay.
And
Huh?
put out music. Big
Yeah.
importance.
Yeah. Oh, that part. Yeah.
Yo, that
Yeah.
we can't gloss over that part. That's the part where a lot of
You
people
can
make the
record
big
all the music in the
mistakes.
world, but if you're not putting anything out, like, bruh,
Albums on a hard drive, this, that, the next thing.
uh, that's why I have a lot of my beats on my website. I have some music on Spotify. I got like, just
Mm.
drop music, release music. You know what it is? When you look back and you listen to the music that you released back in like 5 years prior, 10 years prior, whatever, however long, when you go back and you
Just
listen to
two
it,
large men eating foods between breaks and everything.
what?
That's your skit on your album from 6, 7 years ago. It's just
Oh yeah,
two large men and they're making an
yeah, man,
album and
yo,
it
like
stops. We're going to go eat the food in between it. It's just a
yeah, like
competition to
yeah,
see who can eat the. I was like, that shit stuck with me. That was
yo,
hilarious.
fam, we had a lot of fun doing those interviews. We have a comedian. His name is Quinn. He's in Toronto, and so because I'm a big guy, you know what I'm saying? I own the fact that I'm a big guy. I'm not ashamed of it, not afraid of it, no nothing. I'm a big guy. Deal with it. You know what I'm saying? My partner, he's a big dude, same attitude. So what did we do? We had a comedian come to the studio and basically make fun of fat guys for 30 minutes. Yeah. We were in the studio half. He was in the booth talking and shit. We were dying. We were dying. So we just had him go in there, talk all that shit. And that was it. I took that audio file and I chopped it up and spliced it all up between the whole album. That's how all those interludes came into play.
You know what my favorite part about you, Metikulus, is? When you're like exceedingly proud of yourself, you get this like glossy look in your eyes where you like pat yourself on the
Hey,
back.
yeah, man.
That's one of my favorite parts of you.
I'm
You're a
Listen. There's
man
a
who
lot of
knows
things
how
that
to
I've
be
done.
proud of himself.
there's a lot of things that I've done that I'm like, I can't believe we thought of that.
Yeah, I
That's a good
know.
moment, man.
I love that feeling. Yeah,
You
Ismail
know?
has a
Yeah,
question.
it's an amazing feeling.
Yo, do you
Think
fucks?
outside the box, and the result is amazing. You're like, yes.
What are your thoughts on type beats? Do you make type beats at all?
I label them type beats. I listen. I'm like, I label it type beats just because I know that that's what's going on right now. But I always have a title for my beat. I send it off most of the time. Matter of fact, here's what I end up doing because I have one of my boys in Toronto who's like really good at like understanding, and he listens to all kinds of music. My man Dolo Cruz, he listens to all kinds of music. So what I end up doing is I'll send him like 5 beats, and I'll be like, "Yo, I need you to tell me like three artists to each of these beats that these beats sound like." And then when he'll send me a list back and be like, the first one sounds like this, and this. The second one sounds like this, and he'll tell me. I'll be like, cool, thank you, and that's how I put it out.
Mm. That is the most amazing thing. It took a
Yeah,
second to
I don't
click.
make I don't make music to make it on purpose sound like somebody. I make music because I enjoy making music.
No, but
Now,
like
because of the fact that labeling music is easier when you label it as a type beat,
that's what I
I set
figured
it
was
out to my
happening
boy.
here. I'm like, I bet like yeah, there's probably some YouTube channels that really just make a lot of bank on some generic shit, but I think most people make type beats because like
Most people do
they
because
literally
they're chasing what's popping right now. That's what I meant. They don't have their own sound.
so it's like you can go on
That's what I meant.
YouTube and you can watch a bunch of tutorials on how to use a bunch of effects to create a certain thing. Here's the thing, like for me, I was like, I kind of
Yeah,
get where this is coming from because I feel like they were just not called type beats in the past. They were just called other shit. They just went with beat names. But
they
like,
were just called the instrumental that the producer
yeah,
labeled the beat at.
and then like, cause you remember Jija, right? Like back in the day,
Which
20
one?
Jija,
Yes,
Jeejuh. So I did
yes.
like one of them contests and shit, and I noticed something right off the jump with Jija beats. Like I tried to do a second contest, but I couldn't fall in love with their beats because it was the same like 4 bar intro, 16 bar verse, 8 bar chorus, fucking 16 bar verse, 8 bar chorus, 16 bar verse, eight
Yeah,
bar chorus, 4 bar outro.
the default.
And I'm like, I suppose I could give that to my guy and then he takes the stems and does surgery and shit. But man,
Yeah,
that's like I don't enjoy that. I don't want to have that's your job, beat maker. Arrange music.
yes and no. They'll give you
Oh,
what the basics are.
I want a beat
Listen,
maker that arranges
listen.
music
That's the difference.
properly.
You spoke on something very important. That's the difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Okay, then I don't ever want to work with beat makers. Every beat maker I've ever worked with is a producer then because I only fucks with people who can arrange music properly.
Producers know what they're doing. Beat makers just make beats.
Like, I swear, every beat I've ever selected, I've never asked for a single alteration on. It was a song, and I met the guy halfway in my head.
Yeah, yeah. That's how everything on my website is sequenced. They're all like all ready to go. You know, like you'll hear the difference in the music. Okay, this is where the verse is.
Like, don't get me
Or
wrong. There's a 1-2 time you might be like, fuck that, I wrote an extra 90 seconds. You kind of have to make the beat longer. That happens, whatever.
yeah, that happens.
But then
That
I
happens. But
expect
then
him to
what
make it
happens?
magical.
Yeah, that happens. Like I have moments where artists would be like, okay, I want to buy this beat for me. This beat is sick, but yo, can you add a bridge in a different key? I'll be like, oh shit, okay.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Or that they'll throw it off, and I'll be like, yeah, I could do that. Let's
yes.
do that, and I do it. You know, there's a lot of different fun things. That's why music is so amazing because of all the vast things. It's limitless.
Nah, it's true.
It's the only thing that is limitless. There's no like there are times where you can put too much things on a song, yes, but just with all of the options you're staring at, I can make something do anything.
To be fair, if you do throw all that stuff on a song, you can even call that avant-garde, and there is a fucking group of people that'll consume that and like bump it. I don't know how deep you've
Exactly.
gone into the avant-garde music community.
I don't know about. I know I know about a lot of what's that? I don't know about what the actual title is. I know that there's a lot of people who deal with a lot of stuttered music, a lot of music that has a lot of effects on it. Yeah,
No, I
I
mean
didn't know that
straight
there was
up,
actual names.
there are people that like are like it's almost like anti-music. Like they play with noise, or like
Yeah,
yo, I reviewed this clipping album and they literally end a project with like this 18-minute shit where they burn a piano and you just listen to the fuck. It's like ASMR. It's fucking like I don't know, man. People if like when you say limitless, I don't think people understand all the other directions that some people try to take it. Now, is it
that's why I
always
don't only make hip hop.